what we're going to do today, I'm going to choose someone and you're able to choose what script you actually want to work on. We're going to be doing outbound. So it can be circle prospecting. It can be calling your database. It can be calling for sell by owners. It can be calling expireds. It can be calling, I think Ariane does pre-foreclosures. It can be whatever you want it to be. You actually need to call, and we're going to give you 90 seconds. I'm going to put my timer up. You'll have 90 seconds in order to get through your script. And once we hit the 90 seconds, I'm just going to say time. I'm going to call it, and we're going to give you feedback and let you know what you did well and what you still need to work on. Right now, I'm setting up the timer so that we can have that going. And here's the thing I want you guys to work on when we're going through this exercise. I really want you to focus on making sure that your first 15 to 20 seconds, you're nailing it and you have some confidence in what you're saying. Because if you can't make it through sometimes the first 15 to 20 seconds, you're not going to make it through the script. So let's really focus hard on that. Let's make sure that we're opening up strong. I want you to pay attention to your tonality. I want you to pay attention to your upswings. Like, we got to be careful because the upswing sound like you're asking a question versus a downswing, you're making a statement. And really work on the ums and all the filler words that you use. All right, so I'm going to assign people. However, I want to see if I have a volunteer to get us started. Who would like to volunteer with an outbound call? I'll assign the person who's going to be the seller. You tell me what script you want to use with your outbound call, and we're going to give you 90 seconds. Who's going to be that first brave person out the gate to raise their hand? Let's go.
I'll jump in.
Wait, who's that? Who's that?
Richard.
Richard, what's going on? I love it, Richard. So I'm going to have you call Ashley Davidson. Richard, which script are you going to be using this morning?
Let's go with expired.
Expired. Okay, you got 90 seconds. Ring, ring.
Hello, I'm looking for Ashley.
Who's calling?
Yeah, this is Richard with Century 21. I'm sure you figured out your home is showing up as an expired listing. I was calling to see, do you still want to sell?
We kind of threw it up. We figured we'd try to see what happens. We hear spring and summer, pretty hot markets. I feel like we had a great price. Our home's pretty good. We did not want to accept anything under 750.
Hey, I understand. Yeah. I mean, let's do this. I'm going to do some research on your place and find out exactly what price I could sell that for. If I could get you your price or higher, would you be open to an offer or at least look at it?
I don't know. We're thinking maybe we may list on our own. It doesn't seem like our realtor did anything. So, it doesn't seem like worth paying for that.
Oh, your realtor didn't do anything. Ouch. Well, I mean,
keep going.
Yeah, I didn't know where I was going.
And listen, that's okay. We got stopped a little bit. Okay, so let me pause it here. So, okay, let me stop. Before I get feedback, who has some feedback on that? What could Richard have said differently on this particular call?
I would have asked why I felt, or the seller feels, that the realtor didn't do anything.
Yeah.
What they're looking for in a realtor.
Love that. And then also, you said we need to get 750. I would have asked, what's important about 750? Why is that important to you? And one thing, Richard, like when she said, I might do it for sell by owner, my realtor didn't really do anything. One thing I always love to say is, Ashley, you might be better off selling it yourself than being with an agent that doesn't understand how to market and sell property in today's market. And so I kind of get on your side with that. To me, what that is a pattern interrupt, because no seller would expect me to agree with them for being a for sale by owner. I'm like, you might be better off selling it yourself, right? So, and then I'm going to continue through the script. And by the time I'm through the script, I'll know more about your motivation, and I will talk to you about allowing me to come out and show you what I do differently. Like, you don't owe me anything. You don't owe the other agent anything. However, you owe it to yourself to make sure the property sells when you put it back on the market. I'm going to come out and show you what I do differently, Ashley. If you don't see anything different, then go ahead and sell it yourself. And yet, if I can show you and you feel confident I can sell your home and get you what you need to net on the property, you would hire me, wouldn't you? Or at least entertain it. So I think that's where you would take the conversation, Richard. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's very good. Very good feedback.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Ashley, who are you calling? Are you doing expireds, FISBOs, circle prospecting? Tell me what script you want to use.
I'll do Fizbo.
All right. Scott Bray is going to be the FISBO. I'm going to put 90 seconds up on the clock. Scott, if you're able to unmute, thank you, sir. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, sis Scott.
Yes, it is.
Hi, Scott. How are you? My name is Ashley Davidson. I'm a local realtor. I saw your home is online for sale by owner. I see that it just went up this past week. So what are you looking to do for your next steps? Are you staying local? What's your timeline looking?
How do you mean?
So I always just like to ask in case I have buyers that we know how to come in, if you're looking for a quick close, if my buyers can do that, or if you need a delayed closing, just kind of get an idea as to what you need.
Yeah, as soon as we can, we want to sell. And I think the market's pretty hot. So, we've gotten some action, got a lot of calls, got a lot of realtors already calling. So I
Okay.
think we're going to sell it pretty fast.
All right. And have you had anyone, stop by and put any offers in?
No offers yet, but we're going to have an open house in the next week.
Okay, in the next week, would you be open if, I would be able to help you host that open house, give you some tips on that?
I think we're pretty set with that, but if you have a buyer, bring them by.
Okay, great. So something I would like to do, just because I couldn't see all of the pictures online, if I could just come and preview it for my clients and see. The reason why I do this is just because I like to look at what's on the market, inventory in general. And, I've come across sometimes homes look even better in person, or sometimes the flip, which, I assume your home will look even better in person. Seems like you've done some updates. So can you share what you've done to the home in the last, 5 or 10 years?
Time up.
Oh, yeah,
Time.
we redid the bathrooms.
Time. All right, cool. So, Ashley, how do you think you did? I just want to ask you really quickly.
I mean, I know I was asking questions, but I feel like I could have gotten to the point a little quicker, try and get the appointment.
Yes. And I have some feedback. I'm going to let Matt go first, though. Matt, throw it in.
Good. You recognized the questions. I was going to say my feedback's more questions, and silence is a complete sentence. You don't need to explain why you were explaining everything. Like, don't explain, just let them be genuinely curious and then go back to asking more questions, because Scott flipped the script on you and he had control of the conversation by asking you questions and then you were talking.
Okay.
I didn't understand the question. I realized afterwards you were going for motivation, but at first I thought, I didn't realize where you were going. That's why I asked that. I kind of said, what do you mean by that? So the motivation question wasn't clear to me, what you were asking.
And so my question, Ashley, is do you have buyers, or are you using it as a way to get into the house by saying you have buyers?
I'd say it depends on the house. Usually I call FISBOs if I have a buyer.
Okay, good. So one thing I will say, you did a good job asking questions. The one time where I think you shouldn't ask a question is when you're looking to set up an appointment. What I have found with for sale by owners and expireds, they want someone who will take charge. And so instead of saying, would it be okay if I come by and help you, host an open house and give you some pointers? I would in turn say, hey, Scott, I know you have your open house at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be in the area. I'm going to stop by around 12:45. I have a packet that I'm going to drop off to you that will be very helpful and beneficial to you hosting your open house. And when I'm there, I'll just take a quick preview because I haven't seen it. So 12:45 work for you? And that's how I would set it up.
Okay.
I find when I tell them what I'm going to do, most of the time they just agree. When I ask, it's easy for them to say no, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, so Scott.
Yes. I'll do an expired too.
Okay, expired.
Yeah.
David Gossett, you're able to unmute and be the expired for Scott?
Yep.
All right.
David. Okay,
All right.
Ring.
Hello?
Hi, David.
Yep.
Hey, David, this is Scott from Keller Williams. I'm calling about the home for sale on Main Street that came off the market. Did you end up accepting an offer?
No, we did not.
David, I was curious, are you still considering offers on the property if it made sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. And okay, great. I was hoping to stop by one day this week to preview the home before getting to work. Are you able to show me the home quickly tomorrow afternoon, or would Thursday be better?
Yeah, I can show you the home.
Sounds great. I'll email you a copy of my information as soon as we hang up. And what's the best email for you typically?
DavidGossett@gmail.com.
Great. Okay, I plan on stopping by around 4. If anything changes, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
Too easy.
Scott, give me some
David.
feedback on that. What do you-
That's how they all should go.
It's damn straight, right? And listen, don't be surprised when they go that way, though. I've called plenty of people expecting to get all this pushback, and they're like, sure, come by. I'm like, and it kind of threw me off. It was a bit of a pattern interrupt for me. I wasn't expecting the yes. And so sometimes I will tell you, when you role play, you don't always have to give all the pushback. Sometimes let them book the appointment quickly. That happens. Sometimes hang up on your role play partner because that happens. Like, it's real play. Sometimes there are sellers that will let you come right in. Dave, tell me why you gave it to him like that. Talk to me about
Because my house had expired. He said if I, was I still interested in selling? I was like, yes. And then he's like, I'm a real estate agent. And I was like, I want to come see it. I was like, okay.
right.
Like there wasn't really anything for me to object to because I want to sell my house.
Love it. Love it. Would you think that, Scott still had like 45 seconds on the clock? Should he have maybe asked some qualifying questions to make sure? Because just because you're an expired and you're willing for me to come out, I might not want to come out after I talk to you a little bit more about what your expectations are. Should we maybe do a little bit more probing and finding out, like, is this dude really realistic? Is he motivated? Like, that's what I would do before I, shut everything down. I would probe a little bit more.
I was expecting a little bit more about, like my motivation and why I was so willing to have him come out.
Yeah, Pat, and Scott, if you think about it, you could just use the opening to the pre-qualification script and said something like, David, I'm going to come out there and I want to talk to you about what I do to sell property. If I come out there and you're comfortable with me, and after hearing what I do, you're confident that I could get your home sold, do you plan on hiring me? Like, I would go right into the pre-qualification and see how serious he was, because when you ask that question, he'll start bringing up objections. Well, it depends on your commission. Well, I might be rehiring my previous agent, or maybe I'll be a for sale by owner. All that stuff will come up that will allow you to show up for that appointment and know how to present to him based on the questions and objections that he brings up. Good job there, though.
Thanks.
Yep. David, what script would you like to do? And I'd love for you to call Pete.
I'd like to do an expired, and Pete can be, I guess, the homeowner.
All right, Mr. Pete, ring, ring. Let's go.
Hello.
Hi. I'm looking for Pete. Is this Pete?
Yeah. Who's this?
Pete, this is David. I'm a local realtor, and I'm sure you know by now the listing on your home is expired.
Yep. I got about 500 phone calls this morning. Everybody telling me the same thing. What's up?
Yeah, I figured you'd say that. Well, I'm just calling to find out, like, when you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling your home.
Yeah, man, I don't think, honestly, right now things are just so crazy. I don't think we're doing anything right now. So, but if you want to send me your info, I'll keep you in mind when, if anything changes.
Okay, I'll definitely send you my info. What do you mean, things are so crazy right now? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had it on the market for like 6 months. I mean, did you see it when it was on the market?
Actually, no, I did not.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got all these agents calling me now saying they can sell it. We were on the market for 6 months. We're tired of keeping the house clean and people coming and going and, just not getting what we want. So we're just taking a break right now.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I'd be tired of people calling me as well. I'm working with a client who's looking in your area specifically. So I'm actually calling all the expireds in your area. She's looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath. She's from the area, moved away. She wants to move back. Are you open to me coming by and previewing that home so I can let that client know if I think it works for her?
Time. Okay. Let's see here. Pete, give David some feedback.
No, I thought it was good. We just didn't have enough time. I think I was a little hard on you. I think, asking me if I still wanted to sell the home, like maybe instead of going in and talking to, like, it sounded like you were trying to convince me that you actually had a buyer instead of like finding out if you did have a buyer, would I want to sell the home? I think that's an important question.
Got it. I want to point out something. I don't know if you guys paid attention to how David opened up the sales call. Keep in mind, he's calling expireds. Okay. and I think this is very important when you're calling in expired. He said, "Hey, I'm looking for Pete. I'm David. I am a local realtor." Here's why I believe that's important. If he said his company that he worked for, if Pete had previously been listed with that company, Pete's shutting down. It's like, I don't even want to hear what you have to say. I gave your company 6 months. They didn't sell my house. I don't even want to hear what you have to say. Or if Pete had a negative experience with that company doing something else, right? So I think when you're calling expireds, it's really important in the beginning to just say you're a local realtor. If they ask you who you work for, of course, you tell them. I don't volunteer that information in case they were listed with my company and they had a negative experience. They're not going to let me break through if I bring it up in the beginning. So keep that in mind. The other thing, Pete said, "Man, I'm taking a break. Like, we have the house on the market. We've been sweeping floors, making beds, keeping the kitchen clean. We need to take a break." What's a comeback to that when someone says that? If a seller says we need to take a break, what's something you could say to kind of interrupt that thought pattern?
Would you ask how long has it been? Like, how much time do you think you need?
Yeah, you could. Pete, how much time are you willing to take? A week, a month? Like, what are you looking at? That's a good question. What else?
Or what's your priority in selling the home? How fast did you want to sell it?
Gotcha. How fast do you want to sell it? Pete, if I brought you a buyer today that was cash buyer full price, would you sell today?
Yeah.
So it's not really you want to break. You just want to get this home sold, and because it hasn't sold, you're just a little frustrated with the process.
Yeah, 100%.
Listen, I get it, Pete, man. Making your bed, keeping the kitchen clean, doing dishes every day. It's a lot. And so, Pete, here's what I want to propose to you. The reason I don't want you to take a break, I mean, if you choose to do that, I'm okay with that. However, if you knew that by taking a break for a month would end up costing you thousands of dollars in your equity, you wouldn't want that to happen, would you?
I don't know. I mean, we're really pretty exhausted. I mean, but no, I mean, obviously I don't want to lose money, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you knew there was a way to get this property sold, and I'm sure you're going to say, "Dave, how is that even possible? I've been on the market 6 months and it hasn't sold." But if you knew there was a way with the right marketing and pricing strategy to get your house under contract within the week, I'm sure you would be open to that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but is it going to be for what I want?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. That's what we need to sit down and talk, because I'm not into, taking a listing if I can't help you accomplish your goal. I'd rather turn you down than let you down. So what we need to do is sit down and go look over the comparables, talk about what's happening in the market. I'm going to give you all the information you need, Pete, and you make the decision that's right for you or your family. If it's put the house on the market now, fantastic. If you decide that you still want to wait, I'm okay with that too. I'm not here to pressure you. And yet you've already told me you don't want to lose any equity. So it's important that we at least have a conversation. So I'm in the area this weekend. I'm just going to stop by for about 15 minutes and go over that with you, Pete. And I can do that tonight or tomorrow morning at 10. So you tell me the best time.
I mean, look, I appreciate what you're saying. I mean, we're getting a ton of calls. It's like,
Of course.
super overwhelming at the moment. So if you want to just send me your info, and then, I can give you a call back if when we're ready to do something.
That's fair. And listen, about all those calls, if I could give you a little trick to make those calls stop, would you appreciate that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So here's what I want you to do. Write my name down. My name is David Radney. When any other agent calls you, here's what I want you to say. We're taking a break. When we relist our house, we're relisting it with David Radney. Here's what's going to happen. Once they know that you have another agent in mind, they're going to stop calling. And feel free to use my name. You're not obligated to list with me. And yet when you tell them my name, they'll stop calling.
All right, cool.
All
Yeah, I
right,
appreciate that.
No worries. So I did you a solid. So I need a solid back from you, Pete.
What's that?
Give me 15 minutes. And I promise you, in 15 minutes, if what I say doesn't sound any different than what your agent did previously, and you don't see the value in talking with me, we'll stand up and we'll shake hands and part ways. No harm, no foul.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, let's do this weekend's crazy with graduations and everything.
I'm going through that too. Yeah.
If you want to stop by next week, we could probably do like Monday or Tuesday.
All right. So I'm looking at my calendar right now. I have Tuesday. I have Monday evening at 6 and I have Tuesday at 4 p.m. What's the best time for you and your family?
Yeah, Monday at 6 is probably good.
Monday at 6. All right, Pete, I'll see you Monday at 6. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man. Only problem is I thought you don't work Mondays, man.
I was thinking about that as I said it. I was like, why did I say Monday at 6? Good call. So I was just kind of going through that a little bit just to tell me how I did with that. I don't even remember what I said, but how was that conversation and that flow?
I love that you said I did you a solid, so I need a solid from you.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a good, like, I feel like when you like, I myself like sometimes beat around the bush a little too much maybe and are afraid to kind of just go out and ask for it like that. I thought you did a really good job with that.
Dave
Okay.
was real.
You thought it was real? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Pete. Oh, Alberto, go ahead.
Yeah, you said that 6 o'clock on Monday is because you are scripted. Is the way you used to make the phone calls and give the 2 different options.
Yeah.
But since you have the scripted internalized, I mean, you sounds really natural, you know. And you weren't too push, and Pete said, "Okay, yes, let's get together on Monday at 6.
Okay.
Finally, get the appointment. That's
All
pretty
right.
good.
All right. Good deal. Pete, who are you calling? Expireds, FSBO, circle prospecting.
I'll roll with the expireds.
All right. Hugo, can you be the expired seller? Are you able to unmute, Hugo? Okay. All right. So hold on. Let me let Hugo unmute. All right. There we go. Ring, ring.
Hello. Who's there?
Hi, this is Pete, Kopak, neighborhood realtor. Really, the reason for my call is twofold. You know, one, I wanted to be sure that your home is no longer listed for sale. Did you happen to see that?
Yes, Pete. I'm aware.
Okay, perfect. And two, I just wanted to see, I mean, what are your plans for the property?
We're just gonna take it off the market for a little bit. You know, we just didn't have a really good experience, and we're just gonna wait it out a bit more, and you know, we're gonna wait till things clear up at home a little bit. We just have to do a couple things around the house first before we put it back on the market. It's just been hectic, and we had a lot of showings, and nothing came of it. So I'm a little bit disappointed with the whole process.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can appreciate that. I mean, it looked to me like you had it on the market for 6 months, right? And it didn't end up selling.
That's right.
Yeah, no, that I would be frustrated too. I'm curious. And again, my name is Pete. What is your name?
Hugo.
Hugo. Awesome. Nice to meet you, Hugo. So listen, Hugo, I'm curious. I mean, once the home sold, I mean, like what had you thinking of selling? Where were you going?
Pete, I'm just not ready at this time to pursue this. I really appreciate you calling me and following up and letting me know that the house is expired, but I'm not ready to move at this point.
Okay, so just taking a break altogether, not really looking to move. I got you. And you know, I'm just curious if there was an offer that came on the market today, and I was able to bring you a cash buyer, the number you want. I mean, would you still sell the property?
Do you have a cash buyer?
Time. All right. Like the flow of that. Hugo, get some feedback to Pete.
Really good. You kept coming back with different objection handlings, and I think you just kept at it and you didn't give up. So you just kept the flow going and you kept trying to find a different way through.
Okay, Hugo, stay unmuted. Ashley, you have any feedback on that role play? Anything? Yes or no? Anything Pete did well or could do a better job at? Yes, you, Ashley Augustine.
No, Pete is lit. Pete did a good job. I guess like what I'm trying to get around is some of the filler things that we used to say, like one of the things that he said after he said, "Oh, my name is Hugo," I guess to save time and to quicken it up would just been like, "Oh, okay, Hugo," not the whole like "nice to meet you." It was just like filler words that maybe was a little much. That's it. Because I feel like sometimes when I'm on the phone, if I don't get straight to the point, it's just kind of what Hugo did. Yeah, I'm not really interested in going through this whole rabbit hole. I just want to get off the phone. I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, that's why I have this, right behind me, the first 15 to 20 seconds. Sometimes we're using a valuable time, with those fillers where we need to get to the point because the seller's about to shut down and we got to get in as much as we can. So I think that's a good point. That's valid. Pete, anything you think you would do differently on that call next time? I think you did a good job.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know. I think that's a great point by Ashley, because I feel like sometimes I struggle or go back and forth with like, you want to get it in, you want to get to the point. But at the same time, I feel like when you get talking too fast, it's almost like self-fulfilling prophecy, like where you're speeding it up so fast that like your brain is moving faster than your words can say it. And then you're like, where if you maybe try to slow it, like the first 15, the beginning, obviously I'm not trying to, but like, I don't know. I think just trying to slow it down a little, like I had some feedback for Ashley Davidson, maybe just be to slow it down a little bit, just even with like the words, I think, because I think when you talk fast and you like come back fast, they're coming back fast. And before you know it, you're off the phone. You don't even know what the hell just happened.
Okay. All right. I think that's good feedback. Let me just read the room really quickly. And Katie, I'll come right to you. Just raise your real hands. Is this what we're doing the outbound calls and giving the feedback? Is this helpful today? All right, good. Because I want to do something different. I just want to make sure we're on the right page. Katie, I know you asked about the scripts. If you need scripts or anybody in here needs scripts, just write in the chat. I need scripts. Either put your phone number or your email address, and I have a Google Drive link. Actually, I'm just going to put the Google Drive link in the chat. I have a Google Drive link full of scripts that you can use. Some are mine, some are Mike Ferry's. I got them from all over, but they're great scripts that you can use for everything. So I will put the Google Drive link in the chat. You guys can access that Google Drive and download all the scripts. Just know when you come to any scripting call, you should already have your scripts with you. You should have really a scripting booklet with your scripts, your objection handlers, your questions. Look at Pete right there. Look at Ramsey right there. They have theirs. And so have that handy when you do script practice. And the other thing I will say about this is when you are making scripts and you're doing your follow-up calls, the sellers don't call back when it's convenient for you. They call back when it's convenient for them. I can't tell you how many times I've been grocery shopping and the FSBO called me back. So another thing I recommend is creating your own Dropbox or Google Drive folder on your phone with all your scripts organized. So if someone calls you, you can 2 clicks, you got your FSBO script right up there on your phone. You got your pre-qualification script right there. So never be caught off guard. Always be prepared. Whose hand was up? Javier. Man, is that beard getting thicker? I'm trying to. You see me, man?
I'm outside today, man. I gotta cut the grass before it gets too hot. But I wanted to add on. To what you were saying about how FSBOs and how anybody you're making phone calls, they call you back in an opportune time. We should be doing the same thing and making phone calls. I think that one of the best things for me personally is just getting in my car and getting ready to go to an appointment. And I just call a FSBO, right? Just off the hook, off the cuff, just random. Why? Because you're going to sound your most natural at that moment, but at the same time, you're actually in the middle of doing something. So the activity in the background keeps you focused. And I think that for me, I found that being a phenomenal way to just bypass the anxiety of building it up. Because sometimes when you're like, all right, I got to make phone calls right now, you're like, oh man, you know what I mean? And you just called immediately on your phone while you're driving. So just want
makes sense. No, I like that. Myra, what's going on?
I just want to say I've been following you, and today I actually decided to join. My husband was looking at me weird because I'm in California. I'm in San Diego, so it's like 5:30 over here.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So thank you for this. I really do appreciate it. I haven't practiced. I had health issues for the last year. So I really do appreciate this and you offering the scripts. So I think that's going to get me or help me to, I guess, become more open or be more out there. My background's in healthcare, so I've been doing physician billing for the last 20 years, but then we went on COVID and I stopped seeing people. I stopped seeing patients and I haven't really called anybody within the last year. And I found it to be awkward to be out there and like communicate with people again.
Well, I'm happy you're here. What you're going to get by being here is just learning the words, learning how to show up with confidence, learning how to deliver these scripts once they're internalized. So it sounds really natural. And I'm happy you're here. I love San Diego. I used to live in LA and I spent a lot of time in La Jolla Gaslight District and really miss that place. And so tell other people in San Diego about this call. We love to get more people on.
I actually sent over your Instagram to a couple of people that were having the same issue. And I did send them over your Instagram so they could add you and like join the call or do what they need to do.
Do me a favor, put your information in the chat. You have a lot of agents here from around the country. Maybe they know somebody looking to move to San Diego. So start working on your referrals, put your contact information. And I would say any of you guys that are outside of New Jersey, put your contact information and think about renaming yourself on Zoom and putting where you're from. Like look at Pete Kopech, North Jersey. If he's on the call and somebody needs a realtor in North Jersey, they know Pete's the guy. So you can easily go, if you go to Zoom, the top 3 dots on the right-hand corner of your screen, if you click on those, you can rename yourself and you can add the area that you work in. That's a quick way to, get some referral leads. Thank you for being here, Myra. I appreciate it. Katie, what's up?
Thank you.
I noticed a filler that he was using that I think a lot of people use, and I'm just curious, and it's fine to use it once, but using it twice starts to it's like a filler. It's a crutch type of thing that could be used other words.
I didn't catch that. So thank you for bringing that up. I didn't even catch that. Okay, perfect. Hugo, who do you want to call? You want to call expireds, FSBO, circle prospecting?
Expireds.
Expireds? Okay, great. I'd like you to call Thalia. Thalia, can you unmute and be the expired?
Sure.
Okay, ring, ring.
Hi, is this Valiant?
Yes, who's calling?
Hi, Valley. My name is Hugo Colossus. I'm the local realtor in your area, and I'm just reaching out to you because I noticed that your house.
Hugo, before you continue, what is this about?
I'm calling about your home. I understand it just recently expired, and I just wanted to reach out to you to see if you knew why your house didn't sell.
I'm taking it off the market right now. It's just been kind of hectic. So if you text me your number, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
And when we're ready to sell. I'm sorry.
Wait, something's going on. Your phone's kind of breaking up.
Sorry, yes. Can you hear me now?
No, I'm gonna mute you. I'll is that just me, or are you guys hearing like a mumbling?
It's fuzzy.
Yeah, we all hear the same.
Like breaking up.
Okay, all right. So Thalia, I'll continue the script with you. So you said if I can do what? Just send you my information?
Just text me your information, and when I'm ready, we'll give you a call.
Okay. How long do you think it'll be before you're actually ready?
Well, we don't have to sell right now. We want to sell, but we don't have to sell right now. So we're just taking a break.
Well, that's a great situation to be in. If the home had sold, though, I know you had it on the market for a reason. If it had sold, where were you headed?
Well, we wanted to downsize, so that's why it's not, urgent.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
What's important to you about downsizing?
Just not having all the space. We don't need all the space anymore. The kids are off to college. They're probably not coming back home.
Well, I don't know about
yeah.
that. All right. So downsizing, it's a lot of space. And also by downsizing, you'll have a smaller space, but you'll probably save some money too, right?
Well, yeah, that's the whole point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really for you, it's about smaller space, but really saving some additional money.
Yeah, it's again, like I said, there's no urgency. So,
Right.
we're good because we want to get the right price for it. So we don't want to give it away. So
Completely
we're willing
understand
to
that.
wait.
If you did get this property sold and you were saving extra money, what would that do for you?
Well, it'd get us money in the bank.
Okay. So like just to save up, or would you be spending that and doing some traveling?
Some traveling.
I hear that. Where would you go?
Just visit different places I haven't been to before.
Okay. So if I can help you get this property sold, Thalia, and put the money in your pocket that you want to put in there and get you started on your traveling now versus waiting another few months, would you be open to hearing about that?
Yeah, but like I said, I don't want to, we want to take a break, where it's been a lot going on and we just want to take a break right now. So we're willing to wait.
All right. Well, my time's up. I would go a little farther on that, but my time's up. Any feedback from me? Hey, Bhumika, are you trying to get feedback?
No.
Well, give me some feedback anyhow. What's up, Bhumika?
She didn't seem really. You did ask all the questions about the motivation, and she did answer, but she's really not motivated at this point. So I'm not even sure if I get an appointment or do I even want to go. I would go, but she's not. She didn't seem motivated at this point.
I would say one thing about what we're doing on this call, like we're rushing for the 90 seconds and we're really trying to get to the appointment. If it was really me calling her and we were having this conversation, I would have had a lot more questions for her about her motivation for downsizing and saving the money. I would have really stuck with that a lot longer because there's something there. that I hadn't gotten to yet. It's not just saving money to travel, it's something else there as well. And I believe if I could have more time to dig into motivation, I'd have a different outcome.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Javier, what's up?
Yeah, I had some feedback for you. I think that you had an opportunity of going, if there was a way, right before you asked about where she was traveling. It was that 20-second mark, you were there. The moment you asked the question about where were you going to travel, I just thought, I mean, I heard that you lost it. It's more or less of the time frame.
Yeah.
But I think that if you would have asked that question early on, the moment you went into like the downsizing, that was done. If there was a way, boom, I would have liked to hear that. But yeah, you did a great job, man. You're smooth.
That makes sense. That makes sense a lot. Yeah, I hear you on that. Okay, that's good feedback. That's good feedback.
I'm down to role play too if anybody wants to do something.
All right. Well, Thalia, you're up. Who do you want to call? FSBO's expired. Circle prospecting.
FSBOs.
All right. Call Javier. Javier's going to be your FSBO. If you don't mind, Javier, let's go ahead and go. 1, 2, 3, ring, ring.
Hi, I'm calling about your house for sale by owner. Are you the owner?
Yeah, we're the owner. I'm the owner. How can I help you?
Hi, this is Thalia. I'm a local realtor, and the reason I'm calling is because I work
not
with a lot
another
of buyers
realtor.
and sellers.
Yeah,
So you've been getting calls, it sounds like.
every day. I mean, I just had a sip of coffee, and you guys are calling me already. What can I do for you?
Well, I just wanted to just touch base with you because you have your house on the market. And by the way, again, my name is Thalia. What is your name?
Javier Nichols.
So Javier, so how much time will it take before you might decide to hire a strong agent to get your home sold?
Yeah, we're not hiring an agent. We are okay with paying you guys 1.5 apples, but we're not hiring any agent at this time. Okay, thank you again.
Okay. Javier, when you sell this house, where are you going next?
We're gonna be moving to New Jersey.
Oh, okay. And where are you now? Sorry, I'm sorry.
We're wherever you are.
Yeah, okay. I'm in New Jersey. Anyway,
Yeah.
why is that important to you, Javier?
Well, it's important because we want to get closer to family.
Oh, that's nice. It's good to be close to family. And what will it do for you when you're able to get to New Jersey to be closer to family?
Well, it's going to be fine. But listen, unless you have a buyer, I just want to make sure I'm not wasting too much of my time.
Well, Javier, as you said, you're getting a lot of calls, and if all these agents had a buyer, they would, bring the buyer to you. I don't have a buyer at the moment, but I want to be able.
It's your time, right? I don't have a buyer. If all the other agents calling you have buyers, your home would be sold already, wouldn't it? I like where you were headed with that, Thalia. Javier, you have any feedback for her?
Yes, I definitely do. I think for you, diving directly into the market is going to help you tremendously, especially if something is closed nearby, and just letting them know or informing them about the median days on market compared to what the time they've been on market, just to kind of let them know of updating them. Hey, I noticed you've been on the market for 25 days. My team and I specialize in working with FSBOs. We just want to find out how can we help? And then just let them give you the objection, but then go into your whole script about where you're headed and what that would do for you. But your confidence level is definitely there. It just needs to be a lot sooner as far as the inquiry of the FOMO, right? Because you want to create that early on. Because the FSBO sees themselves as doing what you're doing, right? That's pretty much your parallel. So in their mind, based off every other agent, these agents are calling begging for my listing. Right. So your goal needs to be not just you're not coming in begging at all, but you're coming in informing from an expert point of view. And when you come in from that point of view and then leading into where they're going, there'll be a little bit more forthcoming and give you a longer time on the phone. And then you go into the close. So you did a great job. Keep going.
Okay.
Javier said you're coming in begging, and a lot of us come in begging because we have commission breath and we're willing to do or say anything to get the listing. I will tell you, this is the importance of getting on the phone and doing lead gen every single day. If you're making your calls like you should every day, you have what we call a sales pipeline. You have other buyers and sellers that are going to be doing business in the next 30 and 60 days. You don't have to beg. You're not tied to the outcome. You're doing your job and you're not tied to the outcome. That is not your only lead, your only opportunity. You have others. You have to be doing your job, though, and building that pipeline up. What's up, Mr. Matt? Looking nice and GQ over there. What's going on, sir?
Javier hit a lot of great points. I would just say, roll with the ebb and flow. Don't be afraid to disarm people on the phone too. They're a little aggravated because they're getting called. Call them out. It's a pattern interrupt. It knocks them off their game a little bit, and now they're off their script, right? Because they're getting calls. and then you're back on your own script and do a lot mirror match. You know, if he's a little aggravated, like be a little more direct. And then when you call him out and he relaxes, then you relax a little bit and just work with the conversation. See if the opportunity is there. Keep asking good questions. Great job.
I love the pattern interrupt, and one pattern interrupt I always use with expireds, especially. It's like, Matt, I'm a local realtor in the area, and I just can't figure out why the hell your house didn't sell. What do you think? Like, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, I want to know why you think your house didn't sell. I interrupt with that, and I find a lot of people just start talking, and then that's when I shut up and I listen. I'm like, tell me more. How'd you choose that agent? What did they do that you really like? What do you think they should have done? Like, I really go into question mode based off of that. Makes a big difference. All right, really quickly, I want to take a second and pause. You guys are, of course, doing your job every week and lead genning and doing follow-up, right? All right. Right. Okay. Anyhow, so I want to know, what are you guys coming up against? Tell me a situation that you had when you called a FSBO and expired or circle prospecting. What did someone say to you that stomped you and you didn't know how to respond? Marilyn, go ahead.
Actually, it was we went over it last week too, but I came across it this week when there was somebody I was prospecting and actually contacted the wrong person, but somehow we got into the conversation of real estate, and he happened to say to me, oh, well, actually, I'm thinking about selling my house over in Pompton Lakes. So I said, that's great, so let's talk about it. Let's meet and let's discuss. And he's like, well, no, you know what? I'm actually waiting until July. Because I know this whole NAR settlement is happening and I might be able to save on the buyer's commission. And I was like, oh yeah, you know what? That's great. I'd love to talk to you about that because, we can go over what the pros and cons is about that. And then, and he just went for it. He was like, yeah, you know what? Why don't we just meet? I'll come by your office and we can talk,
I love that. So the way you handled it, I don't know about you guys, but what if we just said, why wait until July? Did you know you never had to pay a buyer's agent? Like, all that's always been negotiable. What I want to talk to you about is why people have always chosen to pay and why it's in your best interest and what's in it for you if you do pay, right? Like that's where I would take that conversation, because everyone's always had the option of not paying that commission. Right? All right, Marilyn. All right. Ashley. Augustine.
So my I don't know, I get around it, but my biggest thing is with FSBOs, and it is that FSBOs don't let you get through the first year script, just like Talia was going through. So you have to be very armed and ready to go back to them and knock them back into the conversation. And I have a couple of FSBOs that I was talking to, and they listed with someone else, of course. But I had some FSBOs that I was talking to, and for some reason, I just can't get through to them because, not can't. It's just I'm having a challenge getting through to them. I don't know if it's my own self-limiting beliefs of like, they're going to be hard to work with kind of thing. But yeah, it's like getting around to them. And I spoke to them multiple times. Like this one, I've been calling them for probably 2 months. They ended up listing with like, what is it called? A discount,
Discount,
the one
yeah.
You could do it yourself. So you're still a for sale by owner, but you put it on yourself. So I was still calling them through that. And they were like, oh yeah, call us back Monday and we'll see. So I called them on Monday. Unfortunately, this week I couldn't meet with them. So I was like, oh, let's book something for let's book for something for Saturday or Friday. And they were like, yeah. Let's do that. Let's put something on the books, because they were finally willing to list. But then they told me, we're not listing anything lower than the price we have it on for now. And instead of going, oh no, I just want to show you and like push for it, I was just like, okay, no problem. I'll call you back on Thursday instead of pushing for it.
Got it.
That's a good role play,
like,
by the
I'm
way.
not going to be able to convince them to drop their price by 100,000. And then they listed at the same price with another realtor. It's not going to sell.
So it's definitely not going to sell. But I want to take you back to what you first said, and then we'll walk through this. Are you willing to be coachable?
Of course.
You said, of course, they listed with someone else, right? Those two FSBOs. Be direct, to be honest with me. If you had to rate your follow-up game with those two FSBOs, rate yourself 0 to 10, 10 being, I did everything I was supposed to do. I called when I was supposed to. I did all the right things. How would you rate yourself?
Probably an 8.
8. What would
Yeah.
make it a 10?
If I knew how to close them.
So you just feel like you're
Yeah,
doing the right
close them.
things. It's what you're saying and not being
What
able to
I'm
handle
saying.
that.
Yeah,
So
I'm not able to handle.
okay. I'm going to let Javier jump in and get some feedback too, but I wanted to just say this. A couple of things I noticed. They told you, hey, Ashley, call us on Monday. And you called on Monday, right? When should you have called?
Saturday.
I probably should have called. Well, that's why I said these past 2 weeks have been hectic, but I probably should have called on Friday.
So the rule of thumb for me is whatever time they tell me to call them, I cut that in half and call them because they're telling you Monday and everyone else Monday. I want to get in ahead of all the other calls. So
But I spoke to them Thursday. That's why
exactly.
they said.
So I'm calling on Saturday.
Right.
Right. I'm whatever that time is, I'm cutting that in half. Javier, jump in real quick, and I got some more feedback. Jump in.
Yeah, so this is really amazing that you not only analyze yourself in this way, but realize that is it really $100,000 difference on price point? Or you
Yeah,
just
they
kind of
need
threw
to
that
be.
out there?
No, it's $100,000 difference. The comps call for $599 to be their price, and they're at $699. They started off at $725.
Have you ever taken a listing where you have spoken to the listing or the seller in regards to price improvement after about a week?
So I don't take overpriced listings.
No,
I
no,
just
no, no, no.
don't.
I'm not saying you're going to take it. I'm just saying, have you ever done that before?
Yes, and they have to
Okay.
sign something after 2 weeks.
Okay. And the only reason why I'm going after that is due to the fact that a lot of times when people are that far apart, there's a disconnect with the metrics of the numbers, right? They don't necessarily understand the numbers. Did you give them a time to really go through sales price to original price ratio and those type of numbers at all?
Not with these.
Okay.
Not with
So I guess that's kind of where I would say you want to lead for your appointment, or even jumping onto a Zoom just to actually screen share. You have to get them to the point where they're asking that, what's that? Right? Hey, have you guys checked out the original price to sales price ratio for this area? What's that? Oh, this is exactly why we got to jump on the Zoom so I can keep your finger on the pulse, because I know you want to make this amount, but if there is a way for you to get close to it, I'm sure you will want to know, right? And of course, yes, this is a game of that little time slot, but to really showcase, and RPR is a great source for this.
It is.
Just to really give them that in-depth understanding, but find out what the real reason is that they have to get this extra $100K. Is it because that private money lender just gave them an extension and they got to pay back, whatever amount? You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason
I have
for
a
that.
question.
Yeah.
So Javier, would you have that conversation over the phone? Because I don't have the pricing conversation over the phone.
No.
Set up a
The
Zoom.
pricing conversation is not going to be on the phone. It's going to be over trying to figure out what is truly pushing them to believe that 100K is needed. It's a must, right? Because if they want that, there has to be a reason for them to want it, something so outrageous, right? So I definitely would say in person, screen share for RPR, but also, seeing the property in person is definitely going to help that process along, and getting in front of the people. Because as we know, 97% of our communication is nonverbal. So we have to see that response when you're asking questions about the funding, the money. And I think that will help you push it across the line, especially being right in front of them.
Makes sense. I'm gonna go to Pete. Let me just say this first. I agree with everything Javier said. For me, though, before I start going over numbers, I'm gonna really dig into motivation to see if they're really serious. Because if they're not motivated, they're never going to lower the price to an acceptable range. So my questions are going to be, what happens? What's the worst case scenario? This home doesn't sell. What does that mean to you and your family? If they're like, we can stay here till we die, that's not someone I'm going to spend a whole lot of time on because the motivation's not there. But if they are highly motivated, then yes, everything Javier said. Pete, you're up, and then Matt.
No, I mean, I think that's kind of what I was going to go into a little bit too. And I think like the mindset of like the call too on yourself too, where it's like, and this is not specifically to you, Ashley, but I just think when it's like, if the conversation is, if you seek first to understand and then you can help, like to that same point, like if you understand like what Javier said, like what if there is like this huge credit line that they need to pay off, or there's this debt, or they need to help a family member who's sick, then that by them listing at $699 is not just going to hurt their bottom line and they're just being greedy and whatever. Now you're like, whoa, this person's in danger. Like this person might like actually really need this money. They haven't had anybody around them like explaining to them why it's important, not just because I'm a realtor and I want to get this home sold quick. And it's now you're coming from like a position where you're like, you're not following up for you, you're following up for them. You want to protect them. You want to make sure that they don't end up with some discount agent who's just going to put it on at whatever number. And if it sells, great. If it doesn't. And I think that's where that follow-up, that conversation, using the numbers, like Javier said, it all starts to work together. And you're like, damn, it's not about me, which I'm not saying, again, this is not specific to you, Ashley. I just think that's like, anyway, so that's kind of my just way to maybe reframe how we have some of these conversations and why digging in on motivation is so important. Because you might talk to them and it might just be like, no, I'm good. I'm just trying to get some money so I can go buy like a jet ski and do all this. Okay, like, you know, whatever. But there are people out there who think that they need to put their number up, they need to sell it themselves, and they don't know that there's a better way. And learning what they're trying to accomplish can help you help them.
Love that, Pete. Really, really good stuff there. Matt.
Yes, motivation. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. I would ask questions too, actually. Like you said, they listed with somebody else, correct?
Yeah.
They listed with somebody else. Okay. Did they? I would find out if they did that or if they already had that person in mind.
No, they did not.
Okay. So, you know, that would be my main focus. When I call FSBOs, yeah, when I call FSBOs, I look for two things: motivation, just like Pete says, and then I want to see if what's my probability of success here. Like I kind of try to do a temperature check in my head based off of the questions that they ask, and then I'll start diving into a question. Be like, "What simple question? Wonderful. You obligated to another agent?"
Yeah.
No, not right now. We're kind of interviewing. Okay, cool. So now you can slow the pace down and say, okay, I can go back to motivation now because now I have a really good shot. It sounds like this person's a little.
You muted yourself, Matt. Be careful driving, man. Be careful.
Yeah, so I would just do that and then dive back in again. And that just, it's hard to say, you know, like we're not there listening to your phone call. So,
well, you can,
you know, you have to navigate it with grace. You know what I mean? If you jump on your car,
yes,
you're
we
all in
can
a suit I'm going door knocking. You want to go with me?
No, good feedback, guys. Let me, somebody put in the chat. Hold on. Where was the question? What's the best time you guys are finding to actually make calls?
Anytime.
Whenever you're going to make them.
The most consistent.
Yep. To me, that's the right answer. Like when you will make the calls. It's preferred and recommended you do it first thing in the morning because things pop up and you never get to your call. So it's always better to do it early, eat that frog early. However, the best time to make calls is when you make calls. The best CRM is the one that you use. Like it's really up to you. Now we're getting mostly people's cell phones, so it's not like we're really connecting with them on the old school. You know, they don't got the yellow granny phone like I got over here where you're calling them at home. Everybody's on their cell phone. So I think that's really good. Like when you're willing to call. However, I would say get in the habit of practicing your scripts in the morning, getting right on the phone. You know, at 9 o'clock, 8:39. Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, I have like one or just two caveats probably to add to that is new expireds, the earlier the better. Like those are the ones that are time sensitive. And then the second one that I need to get better at is adding an evening call block because I make my calls in the morning. And like I was just reviewing like my seller leads this morning, and I know there's this one guy who I've called him twice now, and he definitely sounds like he's at work when I'm making my calls. So I need to either call him on the weekend or make sure I schedule some time in the evening for some evening calls. And we were talking a little bit about that yesterday. So
yeah. Listen, the evening calls at like between 5 and 7. And so the way I set it up is I would get home from the office and I would give myself 15 minutes. I didn't have like tons of people that I needed to follow up with, but my pipeline people who were ready to do something in the next 30 days, maybe I had 5 people. I called those 5 people. Maybe I only got 1 or 2 on the phone. It would take me 15 minutes, but having that time in the evening to reach them when I couldn't reach them during the daytime really helped with my conversion rate. And I also had time on Saturday morning just for 15 minutes or half an hour to reach some people I couldn't reach during the week. I thought that was really important. Javier, if you can wrap that up real quick, let's go ahead because we're about to end the call. I'm gonna let you.
Yes, sir. Yes, I wanted to just give you guys a quick tip that I always provide. So when you guys are making phone calls and you don't get the person on the phone, send them a text message with your signature. Why? Because they have a smartphone 9 out of 10 times, and when you call them back, what happens is you have a maybe with your name next to it. And guess what? They're going to pick up believing that they know who you are. or because no one wants to look stupid, right? So when you send that text message, it's going to help you, and you can identify if it's a cell phone or not, and if it's an iPhone or not. So I just wanted to point that out.
Which
I got it.
what's that?
What's
that?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
What's your signature? What do you mean?
The signature. So for those of you who have iPhones, go to your keyboard, go to your general settings, click keyboard, click text replacement. For those of you that have Android, the same exact thing. It's going to be a text replacement. And all you have to do is just put your initials in, your signature pops up. You can just go ahead. You have to line it up. It's a very short process. Trust me, it's super simple, but make sure you do it.
Can you repeat that, please, slowly?
So go to YouTube and do how to add my signature on my iPhone, and just watch a quick video. They'll break it down for you. It is helpful because I agree with Javier. Every time I look at my phone and it says a maybe, I do answer. So I didn't think about that until he said it. But when I see that maybe, I'm like, oh, this isn't a spam call. This is maybe somebody I know. And so he's absolutely right. Go to Google that shit, go to YouTube and watch a video on how to do it and do it, because that's a good tip right there. Hey, I just want to share with you guys really quickly, and I'm not going to give all the details, but I had a great mastermind yesterday with Pete and Ashley. And Pete and we're about to get busy. We want to take what we're doing on this call and put it into practice. And Pete has been doing really well, database and doing some, geo farming. We're really going to focus on working together and going after FSBOs and expireds. And our goal is to get 5 pieces of business in the next 60 days from those activities. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it each week and report back on how he's doing. And we're going to have some masterminding around it right after this call on Fridays for like 5 or 10 minutes. So you guys can be part of that process and see how, when you get purposeful about practicing the scripts and then implementing what you learn, and you get out there in the field and you start making the calls and going on FSBO previews, what that looks like. And I know once you see Pete getting the listings, you're going to realize the only reason you're not getting it is because you're not making the calls and you're not using your scripts. My whole goal here is to inspire you guys to start doing the work, to push you. Yes, Ramsey, to push you. And Pete is going to get out there and start making it happen. So follow us along on that journey. It's something new that we're both doing together. I'm excited about it. Pete's pumped up about it. And we're going to go back and forth each week. And I'm going to be giving him some good coaching around it. And we're going to be talking about the experiences he's having out there in the field, the pushback he's getting from FSBOs and expireds. And we're going to, talk about it each week. So I hope you guys will join us on that journey.
And I'm nervous as hell about it. You guys are all my accountability partners. So I will see you guys next week and let you know what's happening.
Right. So, guys, here's what I want to say. Thank you. I want to say I appreciate you guys giving me your Friday morning, especially. I know it's a lot going on. Graduations, prom, it's summertime. It's nice outside. I appreciate you guys plugging in and coming here. I hope that you found value from this call today. And I just want to say one thing. I send out an email either Wednesday or Thursday to tell you what's going to be happening on this call. Along with that, I send you a link to a YouTube playlist that has all of the recordings of our previous script practice. And I also include a roster of people who are willing to role play. So if you don't have a role play partner and you want one, look at that email. Here's what I've noticed. Those videos that I put on there for you guys to go back and watch, they're getting very few views, which means you guys aren't going back and listening to these scripts. You should be playing these videos when you're washing dishes and cooking dinner or walking your dog, because when you're hearing it over and over again, those scripts, they start to embed themselves. That's how you learn how to internalize the script, is by hearing the conversations over and over again. So I would encourage you to listen to something. It doesn't have to be my recordings. You need to be listening to people script and role play and overcome objections every single day. It will help you get stronger faster. All right. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good Friday, and I will talk to you guys hopefully on Tuesday for our morning mindset call. Pam, I'm glad you were here today. I hope you got value from being on the call today. Thank you for coming in, Pam and Valia and Henry, Javier, Scott, Ariane, Alberto, Richard, David, Lewis, Pete, Denise, Ebony, all you guys. I really appreciate you guys. I will talk to you later on. Y'all have a good one.
David.
Yes. Hey, yeah, Ashley, what's up?
This is a stupid question because you're going to get on me, but where we can find the recordings? Because I've never gotten a recording to my email, sir.
So here's the issue. Sometimes BombBomb, the emails do get suppressed. So if you're not getting the emails, I'll send you the YouTube playlist. So if any of you guys are not getting the emails from me, you can text me and say, David, send me the YouTube playlist and I'll send it to you. I'm not going to put my phone number in the chat because if you can't find my phone number, shame on you. Seriously, all you got to do is type in David Radney in Google if you can't find my number. So I will send it over to you, Ashley.
All right, thank you, sir.
And it's not a stupid question at all. See y'all.
I thought you was just gonna be mad that I asked it.
No,
so-
no, no. I'm glad that you asked because, you know, I want to make sure you have it. So thank you.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right,
good one.
talk to you.
You got my number, right?
All right.
Good.
Talk to you
Bye.
guys.